Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering why your body just won't let you rest even though you're tired? You've done everything right. No caffeine after noon. You've shut off the TV early, maybe even read a few pages of a good book. And yet, sleep doesn't come. What if I told you the problem isn't what you're doing before bed, but what you ate at dinner? Hi, my name is Marcus Smart. I'm 67 years old, and like many of you, I've learned that aging doesn't just affect your body. It affects your sleep, your energy, your mood, everything. But what I've discovered over the years is that the food we eat can either work for us or against us, especially when it comes to sleep. And the truth is, some of the most harmless evening meals could be the very reason you're wide awake in the middle of the night. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the connection between food and sleep specifically. How to eat smarter after 60 so you can fall asleep easier, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling rested. And it's not about complicated diets or trendy fads. It's about simple, real-life changes that make a powerful difference. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about one of the biggest culprits, late-night sugar. Maybe you don't think of yourself as having a sweet tooth, but think back to what you had with dinner last night. Was there barbecue sauce on the chicken? A sweet vinaigrette on the salad? Maybe a piece of fruit or a little chocolate afterward. The sugar may be hidden, but your brain feels it. When you eat sugar late in the day, your blood sugar spikes and then crashes. That crash can trigger adrenaline, restlessness, and yes, those 2 a.m. wake-ups. And over time, it doesn't just ruin your night's sleep. It chips away at your energy, your memory, and even your immune system. Now, I'm not saying you can never enjoy something sweet, but the trick is in timing. If you want better sleep, aim to finish your last sweet food, whether it's fruit or dessert, by 4 or 5 p.m. That gives your body time to process it, stabilize your blood sugar, and prepare for restful sleep. Let's move to the second hidden factor that so many people overlook: eating too late. I know this one's tough. Many of us get busy during the day, or we're used to having dinner around 7:30 or 8 p.m. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. When you eat a full meal late in the evening, especially one with fats, meats, or heavy starches, your digestive system has to work overtime. And digestion takes energy. Instead of your body preparing for sleep, it's busy breaking down your meal. That can cause discomfort, bloating, even heartburn. But more importantly, it interferes with your brain's ability to power down. Found that eating dinner by 6 p.m. is one of the simplest changes with the biggest rewards. It gives your body a few hours to wind down, and when you do get into bed, you're not fighting a full belly. You're free to rest. But I know habits are hard to break. If you're someone who eats later, don't try to change everything overnight. Just start by moving your dinner time 15 minutes earlier each week, and notice how your sleep responds. You might be surprised at how quickly your body says, "Thank you." Now, this next part might surprise you. What if I told you that the key to sleeping better isn't just about avoiding certain foods, but about including the right ones? There are natural sleep-supporting nutrients in food: magnesium, tryptophan, melatonin, and if you eat the right combinations in the evening, they can gently nudge your body into a calm, relaxed state without pills, without side effects. One of my personal favorites: a small bowl of cooked oats with a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds. Oats contain melatonin and magnesium, and pumpkin seeds are rich in tryptophan. It's not a heavy meal. It won't spike your blood sugar, and it works like a charm. Another great option is a small banana with almond butter. Bananas are full of potassium and magnesium, both of which help relax your muscles. Almonds have healthy fats that keep you full but not heavy. And together, they create a comforting little snack that can soothe your body into rest. And here's the thing. Once you start noticing which foods help you sleep, it becomes easier to avoid the ones that don't. You'll feel more in control, more confident, more rested. And honestly, isn't that the goal? To wake up not just older but better. So if you're tired of being tired, if you're ready to take back your nights and feel like yourself again in the morning, stay with me. The changes are small, but the difference is real. Let's keep going. Now that you've got an idea of how sugar and timing can mess with your sleep, let's go a little deeper. Because sometimes, it's not just what you eat or when you eat, but how your body reacts to what you've been eating for years without even realizing it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that after eating certain foods, your body feels more tense than relaxed? Maybe your joints start to ache, your stomach feels unsettled, or your brain just seems foggy. That's not a coincidence. It's inflammation. And chronic inflammation doesn't just affect your joints or your heart, it affects your sleep. 1 of the sneakiest sleep disruptors after 60 is inflammation caused by food sensitivities. I'm not talking about extreme allergies. I mean the subtle, quiet inflammation that builds up when your body struggles to digest certain foods especially. As your gut gets more sensitive with age, the top culprits: dairy, gluten, processed meats, and fried foods. They're not necessarily bad for everyone, but they are common triggers that can cause restless legs, heartburn, night sweats, and even anxiety before bed. I had to learn this the hard way. For years, I thought my glass of milk before bed was helping me sleep. Turns out, it was doing the opposite. I cut it out for 2 weeks, and no kidding, I started sleeping like I hadn't in years. So if you're waking up at night and can't figure out why, it might be worth experimenting. Try cutting one potential trigger at a time. Give it 2 weeks, and just notice how your body responds. Now let's talk about hydration. It might sound strange, but not drinking enough water during the day can actually affect your sleep at night. When you're dehydrated, your body goes into a mild stress state. Your heart rate increases, your temperature regulation gets thrown off, and your muscles can cramp especially at night. And yet many people over 60 stop drinking water in the evening to avoid getting up to use the bathroom. I get it, but the key here is balance. Try front-loading your water during the first half of the day. Drink a full glass when you wake up, another with breakfast, one mid-morning, and again at lunch. Then, slowly taper off by late afternoon. This way, your body gets the hydration it needs without you having to wake up at 3 a.m. to run to the bathroom. And believe it or not, when you're hydrated, you'll actually fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. Your muscles relax. Your joints ache less. Even your brain gets calmer. Got another major piece of the puzzle? Alcohol. I know a glass of wine or a little whiskey might feel like it helps you unwind. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Alcohol does make you feel drowsy, but it also interrupts your sleep cycles. It prevents you from reaching the deep, restorative sleep your body needs. And once that alcohol wears off, usually a few hours later, you're wide awake, often sweating or feeling anxious, with your mind racing. I'm not saying you have to give it up entirely, but if you're struggling with sleep, it's worth taking a break from alcohol for a few weeks just to see the difference. Or limit it to special occasions and try replacing your evening drink with something soothing like chamomile tea, tart cherry juice, or warm lemon water. You'll be surprised at how comforting that simple ritual can feel, and find how much better you'll sleep. Let me pause here for a moment and say this. Everything we've talked about so far is not about perfection. It's about paying attention. Your body is always sending you signals. Trouble falling asleep, waking up groggy, feeling wired at midnight. These aren't random. They're whispers from your body, telling you it needs something different. And you don't need a perfect diet or a rigid plan to fix it. You just need curiosity, a little consistency, and a willingness to try one small change at a time. And one of the most powerful changes you can make: adding calming, sleep-supportive foods in your evening meal. I mentioned a couple earlier, like oats, bananas, and almonds, but there are so many more. Fatty fish like salmon, for example, is loaded with omega-3 south and vitamin D, both of which support melatonin production. A small serving at dinner, paired with leafy greens or roasted veggies, can create a balanced, light meal that sets the stage for a peaceful night. Or how about kiwi? Just 2 kiwis an hour before bed have been shown to improve sleep onset and quality. It's the kind of small change that feels easy and delicious and can work better than a sleeping pill. You could also try foods rich in magnesium, like spinach, avocado, or dark chocolate, with at least 70% cocoa. These help relax the nervous system, reduce anxiety, and prepare your body for sleep naturally. I remember a time not long ago when I felt like sleep was slipping away from me. I thought it was just part of getting older, something I had to accept. But now, I understand that the food I eat plays a bigger role than I ever imagined. And once I started listening to my body, really listening, I discovered that better sleep wasn't just possible. It was already waiting for me, right there on my plate, Doc. So before we move on, I want you to remember this. What you eat at 6 p.m. really can keep you up at 2 a.m. But the good news is, the reverse is also true. The right foods can bring you the peace, the rest, the deep comfort your body has been asking for. Let's keep going. Now that you've got a sense of the foods that support better sleep, let's talk about something we don't often think about: the rhythm of eating. Yes, not just what or when, but how consistently you fuel your body plays a role in how easily you drift off and how deeply you rest. See, as we age, our circadian rhythms, our body's internal clock, can get a little off balance. It's one of the reasons people over 60 tend to go to bed earlier or wake up at odd hours. But food is actually one of the strongest ways to reset that rhythm. When you eat at roughly the same time every day, especially dinner, your body begins to anticipate rest. It's like a gentle whisper saying, "Okay, time to wind down." That's why erratic eating schedules, late night snacking one day, skipping meals the next, can confuse your system. Your digestion works best when it knows what's coming. Try this. Set a consistent dinner window. Let's say 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. and make that meal a calm, light experience, not rushed, not distracted by TV. Just you, your plate, maybe a soft tune in the background. The simplicity of it can do wonders. Another factor that often gets overlooked is portion size. Eating too much, especially too close to bedtime, forces your body to stay busy when it should be resting. That fullness turns into bloating, heartburn, even restless sleep. You might think, but I didn't have anything heavy. Yet even a healthy meal, when overdone, can weigh you down. Here's a helpful little tip. Finish your dinner feeling about 80% full. It might take a few tries to recognize that feeling, but once you do, your digestion will thank you, and your sleep will too. And if you're someone who gets a little hungry before bed, no need to go to sleep starving. A small, simple snack like a slice of turkey, half a banana, or a spoon of almond butter can actually help you sleep by stabilizing your blood sugar. Speaking of blood sugar, let's circle back to one thing many people overlook: nighttime blood sugar crashes. These dips can jolt you awake, especially around 2 or 3 a.m. You're not necessarily stressed. You're not in pain, but suddenly, you're up. This is often because your body's blood sugar dropped too low, and in response, it released adrenaline or cortisol to wake you up. To prevent this, it's not just about what you eat right before bed. It's about how stable your meals have been throughout the day. A breakfast high in protein, a lunch with good fats, a dinner rich in fiber. This foundation helps regulate blood sugar and supports deeper, uninterrupted rest at night. So yes, good sleep begins in the morning. Now, let's touch on digestion. After 60, many of us notice that our stomachs don't handle certain foods the way they used to. That can lead to gas, bloating, or acid reflux, all of which love to show up just as you're trying to fall asleep. A gentle digestive aid like peppermint tea, fennel, or even a short evening walk can go a long way. The idea is to help your body transition into rest, not just fall into it. One of the most peaceful habits I've personally adopted is what I call a sleep ritual meal. It's nothing fancy. Just a plate of warm, easy-to-digest food with calming ingredients. Maybe some sautéed spinach with garlic and olive oil, a small piece of grilled salmon, and a baked sweet potato, followed by a mug of chamomile or lemon balm tea. The warmth, the routine, the lack of heavy spices, it creates a physical and emotional cue for my body to let go. And let's not forget the emotional side of eating. For so many of us, especially after 60, food is tied to comfort, memories, even loneliness. And at night, when things are quiet and thoughts get loud, it's easy to reach for snacks, not because we're hungry, but because we're seeking something else. That's okay, that's human. But the more you build nourishing habits, ones that make your body feel safe, not spiked with sugar or guilt, the more you start to sleep with a sense of ease. Here's something beautiful I want you to hold on to. Better sleep isn't just about rest. It's about renewal. It's how your brain clears away stress. It's how your body repairs itself. It's where memory is stored, energy is restored, and healing takes place. And you have more control over it than you've been told. So tonight, before you go to bed, take a look at your plate. Ask yourself, is this helping me heal or making it harder to rest? Then choose what feels gentle, what feels kind, what feels right for you. You don't need perfection. You just need a little more awareness and a lot more kindness toward yourself. If you found something helpful in this video, I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments below. What's one change you've made to your evening eating that's helped you sleep better? Or what will you try starting tonight? And if this kind of practical, gentle guidance speaks to you, hit that like button. It helps the video reach more folks like you, and subscribe to the channel for more ways to live better after 60. Sleep well tonight, friend. You deserve rest. You deserve comfort. You deserve to wake up tomorrow feeling just a little lighter, a little clearer, and a lot more alive. Here's to living your best life at any age, starting with what's on your plate.